Morning, this is Gray with a fresh word for you for today. Today we're looking at faith and why it's so important that when we pray, we should not doubt at all. The example I'll give you is in the book of Luke, chapter 9, when Jesus sends out the 12 disciples and he equips them with his word and he gives them authority and says, go out and heal everyone and cast out demons. And they go out and they do it and they come back with stories of victory of how they were able to heal and cast out demons. And yet, if we go down in that same chapter, they encounter a man with a young boy who was demon possessed, and that demon would throw that kid into fits. And the man and the boy's father reports to Jesus that your disciples have failed to remove this to heal my son. These are the same disciples that went out and were able to heal in village after village, cast out demons. And at this point in time, they're failing. Why were they failing? Why were they failing? Jesus says in verse 41 of Luke chapter 9, he says to them, you unbelieving and perverse generation. He called them unbelieving. Why did he call them unbelieving? If we look at Matthew 17, the same encounter, Matthew says that Matthew went a bit farther and said, this is what Jesus said. He says, because you have so little faith. When the disciples went back to Jesus, says, why did we fail to cast out this demon? And Jesus says, because you have so little faith. These are the same people that earlier were able to do it, now are unable to do it. And the only difference is, they says that you have so little faith. And Jesus went on to explain what he meant. He says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, you know what he says about this mountain, but in the end, it says nothing will be impossible for you. The thing about the mustard seed, it's not only its size, it's a smaller seed, but it's also its purity. Mustard seed apparently is a very pure seed. So if your faith is as small and as pure as that mustard seed, nothing will be impossible with you. This goes to show us that the disciples, in encountering the boy, for some reason or another, doubted whether they were able to do it. And that small doubt, even though they went forward and did it, they went in and tried to cast out, because they had that doubt, they failed. You and I, we're failing as Christians to pray for things because we doubt. And you and I, we know it. When you see a situation, you always have that 1-2 second step back, and then eventually start thinking about, let me pray. That step back and then eventually start thinking about praying. Even when you're praying, you still have that small doubt. That doubt is what erodes our faith. And Jesus says that we need to have faith as pure as a mustard seed. Mark chapter 9, in referring to the same situation, Jesus gives them an answer of how they could have done it. And in verse 29, he says, this kind can only come out by prayer. Other versions says prayer and fasting, but that's the same thing. But when we look at all three gospels of this encounter with this young boy, we did not see at any point in time Jesus praying. That means it's not that we pray at that point in time, but our life has to be a life of prayer, so that when we encounter the situations such as this, we will have the faith to do it. If you and I stay in God all the time, if you and I are in God all the time, with God, in his word, in prayer, in daily conversations with Jesus, with God, we will build up our prayer, build up our faith in such a way that when we come to such encounters where they challenge us, we will have the faith to stand up and speak those things. We'll have the faith to stand up and speak into those things and see those things happen. But because we do not spend a lot of time in prayer, because we do not spend a lot of time with Jesus, when those encounters come, doubt overcomes our faith. So my encouragement to you is, while you're still sitting, while you're still standing, while things are still good in your life right now, press into God through his word. It's taking time to humble yourself in prayer and in fasting. so that when the situation comes, when the troubles comes, and they will come, we are better prepared. That's my encouragement for you. Let's stick into the word so that doubt should not erode our faith. God bless you all.